Welcome to the podcast. I got a notebook. Before I would write down some ideas on sticky notes, but if you watched the last episode, you will know that I lost that sticky note and therefore lost two beautiful ideas. Now that I have this notebook, hopefully I will not lose it. It says dope rhymes on it. I bet a lot of white moms own this notebook. But also now if I lose this notebook, instead of losing two brilliant ideas, I will lose hundreds, if not thousands. And I lose a lot of stuff. It's kind of a character flaw of mine, one could say. What are we going to talk about in today's episode? We got a lot on the agenda. Are we going to talk about politics? Are we going to talk about drinking water out of a wine glass? There's something beautiful about it. I don't know if you guys were ever kids and you would put soda in a wine glass. It's beautiful. You feel like you're an adult. You feel like you're grown up. And as a child, you think that the feeling of being grown up is simply just feeling like you're a grown up, is like being able to do whatever you want. You don't know that being a grown up is just misery for 60 years. And so many people have talked about that, so I'm not saying anything unique here. We all hate adulthood. As an adult, though, I'd rather drink water out of a wine glass than soda. Because regardless of if you're drinking water or soda out of a wine glass, you still feel proper, right? You feel posh, as the Germans say. However, as I'm getting older, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not as thin as I used to be. I know you guys can look at my jawline and think, oh, what are you talking about? You're gorgeous. And I never said I wasn't gorgeous. I said I'm not as thin as I used to be. I'm thicker now. And that's with age. You know, I used to be 140 pounds. I'm 5'9". I used to be 140 pounds. That was too skinny. Now I'm 5'9", 180 pounds. And that's a little too heavy. So we're trying to get back down to 160. I go to the gym a lot, so some of it's muscle, but some of it's not muscle, if you know what I'm saying. Some of it's McDonald's. And so when you drink water out of a wine glass, you still get to feel proper, but you know you're not poisoning your body. Now you could say, Peyton, what if you just put Diet Pepsi in there? And I hear you. I only drink diet soda because of the weight issue that I'm currently experiencing. It's not much of an issue. I just weighed myself and I was like, you're a little heavier than you used to be. And that's true. You could drink diet soda. I drink a lot of diet soda. You know, too much diet, I drink diet soda about every day. And so even diet soda, you know you're poisoning yourself. My brain tells me I'm not poisoning myself because it's 0 calories, but my heart knows that something in this is not right. People treat their shoes worse the longer they have them. We've all experienced this phenomenon. You get a brand new pair of white New Balance sneakers, and you are so protective of these things. You're loving on them. You're kissing on them. You're cuddling on them. You're wiping them off when they get dirty. You're going to town with those baby wipes on your white New Balance shoes. You're taking care of them for the first about 3 weeks, and then you're done. Then they're just shoes to you. That's all they are. They're just shoes. They get dirty. You'll wash them every now and then, but they're just shoes. Over time, people treat their shoes worse. People treat their shoes a lot better in the first month they have them than they do the following year or two. And if you think about it, that's kind of how parents treat their children. The first year that someone has a baby, they are coddling it. They are staying up with it every single night. They're losing sleep over it. They're making sure this baby is perfect. And by the time they're a teenager, similar to how after your shoes are a couple of years old, you're ready to throw them away. By the time your child is a teenager, you're ready to kick them out of the house. Parents are a lot more gentle with their kids when they're 1 than when they're, even 7 or 8. And sure, you could say, it's because they know that they are not as fragile anymore. They're stronger. It's time for them to learn how tough life is. But I'd also just say that it's the same thing with relationships. Shoes, parenting, and relationships. When you first get into a relationship, everything is so much fun. And then a couple years into it, and it's just it just is. After a couple years, these are just the pair of shoes you have. They're worn down. They're not as fun as they used to be. Your kids aren't as fun or cute as they used to be. Your kids used to be adorable. Now they're loud and obnoxious. They were always loud and obnoxious, but they used to be cute. But now they have pimples, and you have to buy them braces. Now your husband has put on 40 pounds. Time is the killer of all. Time doesn't heal wounds. Time makes love die. For some people, some married couples are just as in love 50 years after their marriage than they are the night they first did it, of their wedding night. Will that be me? Well, we'll see. Don't really care. Concerts where you don't know the artist are awful. They're just awful. And you would think that any concert would be fun because it's a concert experience. You're there to have fun. It's live music. Who doesn't love live music? And I want to be clear. If you're like at a restaurant or bar and you're like at a dinner table with friends and there's like a live music somewhere, that's awesome. And they're playing their own songs. They're playing covers. Great. That's awesome. That's so much fun. But when you go to the Ryman or some stadium to see, or some arena to see an artist that you don't know any of their songs to, it is not a fun time. In my experience, there's been several concerts I've been to in the last year that I had no idea who this person was. And I should have done my due diligence to listen to them before I got there. But I was just going with other people or this and that, whatever. I got invited or work stuff, whatever. And when you don't know any of the songs, you just can't have fun. You would think you'd be able to sit back and listen and enjoy, but instead you're standing up. You're there for hours because the opener's there, and then all of a sudden the energy's pretty high for when the headliner comes out, but then after 10 minutes you're kind of ready to go home, and you have to stand a lot, and now your feet kind of hurt, and you're tired. And because you can't actually, you're trying to listen to the music, but you don't recognize the music, and so really you spend most of the time just thinking. You're kind of just in your own head while the music plays in the background, because that's usually what music does. In my day-to-day life, it just plays in the background. And if I don't know the songs, I can't fully engage with them and sing along. And so now you're just in your own head and you're miserable. You're thinking about how your feet hurt. You're thinking about the homework you have to do the next day. You're thinking about this drive. You're going to have to drive 90 minutes home, and it's already 10 p.m., and the headliner's only been up for an hour, and they're probably going to do 2 hours. And so now, like, all these thoughts are spiraling. You look around and you see all of these people having the time of their lives, and you get frustrated. Because you're not having fun. You want that headliner to get off because they just keep talking. They just keep talking about their life. And like everyone cares, but you do not care. You are the only person in this room of thousands of people who do not care. Now, if you were to go to like a smaller, I'm talking about like big venues, especially when you're at like big arenas or big concert venues or big theaters. If you're like in a smaller venue, you're just kind of hanging out. It could definitely be fun just to rock out. I'm talking when you go to a concert. It's different with openers. It's a bit of the same experience, but it's different because I've seen some opening acts, especially again in smaller venues that only hold a couple hundred people. When the opener comes out, you don't know who they are. You don't know any of their songs. Probably, maybe you did some research, but I've had a blast with some openers at concerts, and there have been some openers where I just kind of kept checking the clock, but also you're more engaged in their concerts and their performances because, first of all, the concert you're at, the headliner's already not that famous, and so the opener is nobody. I mean, if the opener died, I wouldn't care, or I wouldn't know. If I knew them, I'd probably care, unless they sucked. But you're engaged in these concerts because you kind of want to support them. You want to be there for them. You want to smile. You want to try to sing along, just to encourage them because they're doing their thing. They're following their dreams. They're pursuing their art, and you love that for them. And there's one opening band that me and my friends saw that just kicked butt, and they were honestly cooler than the headliner was, and we kind of still keep up with them to this day. I've seen some headliners that were boring, but they played one or two cover songs. One of the concerts I went to recently, and first of all, I don't go to that many concerts. This year I probably went to 4, and this is by far the most concerts I've ever been to in my life this year alone. Maybe 5. Maybe I think I went to 5 concerts this year, which I probably doubled the amount of concerts I've ever been to this year alone. So I don't want to sound like some concert prick who has been to so many concerts and know what's right. But, shoot. I don't even know what I'm saying now. I forgot. I completely forgot because I sidetracked myself. And I'm going to stop. I need to stop this train of thought because one of the things I've been learning is just recognize when you're doing negative self-talk and stop it because it's not healthy. And so I observed it. I stopped it. Show this clip to my therapist. More like therapist. He's pissed off at me for having depression. I don't blame him. I'm pissed off at me too. But yeah, me and my friends, we saw this band that they rocked it. That's what I was talking about. Oh, the last concert I went to, one of the openers played. It was just one opener. She played a Chappell Roan song. Was it Red Wine Supernova? It wasn't Hot to Go. It was Good Luck, Babe. Shoot. It was a Chappell Roan song, and everyone sang along, and it was such a good time. And her own songs are actually really good too. I do not remember her name. Cousin Simple was one of the bands I saw as an opening act, and I thought they were really good. They're from Columbus, which is vaguely near where I am from. So shout out to Cousin Simple. We're going to open back up the notebook because I'm starting to lose it here a little bit. I would be sick if these podcast episodes were like 60 minutes long. Not one of these days I'm going to do a 4-hour podcast, and it's going to be awful, and no one's going to want to listen to it. But you're going to have to. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading my notebook. These are all half ideas that I don't really think through. I just write down half ideas or observations I make, and then I just run with it. Trying to work on my improv, trying to be more unscripted. My main channel, every single thing I ever say on that channel is scripted, so I'm working on being more unscripted. This is just a way for me to practice, I guess. If you hear background noise, it's because my roommate's watching a movie really loudly. Does anyone in Gen Z care about wokeness? When I talk to some of the older people in my family, you'd think wokeness is the worst thing to happen to this world. I'd argue like weapons of mass destruction or guns have done more damage than wokeness, but they wouldn't believe you. So just kind of asking Gen Z folks, do we care about wokeness? I don't care. I think it's kind of funny. So shout out to wokeness. You make my family members mad. And I love you for that. Dinosaur World is this thing. I talked about dinosaurs in the first episode of the podcast, but Dinosaur World is, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't really know what Dinosaur World is. Dinosaur World, it's this thing I always drive past when I am driving north into Ohio. I think it's in Kentucky, but every time I drive past it, there's this big dinosaur. It says Dinosaur World, and then I see a couple dinosaurs somewhere within the forest. And I can't figure out what Dinosaur World is. I want to go, but every time my parents just kind of drive by it and we never stop in. And there have been times when I've been driving by myself and I haven't stopped in. So if you guys know what Dinosaur World is, let me know down below in the comment section. Trying to do more audience interaction, so that's why I'm asking you guys all of these questions. It's currently 9:30 p.m. on a Saturday, and Ohio State is playing at Tennessee in the college football playoffs. So that's a fun fact. Ohio State right now is up like 21-0. Although the second I'm done recording this, I'm going to go back to watching. I live in Ohio. Ohio State football is the biggest deal ever. But they lost to Michigan, and I thought that was hilarious. Have we considered that Buc-ee's is just a gas station / convenience store with a mascot? Just because something has a mascot doesn't mean it's good. Subway had a mascot once. I wrote down that whole thing in the car today while I was driving. And so that wasn't improv. I wrote that whole thing down word for word. I like Buc-ee's. I don't want to be a Buc-ee's hater. If you are a Buc-ee's hater, you just need to find something else to do, man. And so I don't want to come across as a Buc-ee's hater. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm not a Buc-ee's hater. I'm a Buc-ee's realist. That was off the dome. I'm a Buc-ee's realist because it's just a gas station, man. It's a big, fat gas station that are kind of rare. But, like, you buy gas, you get a car wash. Their food is pretty good. their sandwiches, especially their roast beef and their chicken. Well, their chicken sandwich actually was not that good. The one time I had it, they did not. It had like this Chick-fil-A type sauce in it, but they barely put any of the sauce on it, so it was kind of dry. And I got the roast beef once too. No, I didn't get the roast beef. I got a chicken Caesar salad, which was actually pretty decent, but I like any Caesar salad. So like, yeah, the food is kind of good, and they have a lot of candy. I like their watermelon sours. I like Buc-ee's. I do, but it's like people make it out to be the best thing since sliced heads, like guillotine. But it's just it's a gas station, bro. It's a gas station with food and snacks. I like Sheetz more anyway, to be honest with you. And first of all, I'm not gonna get on my knees for Sheetz. Like, let's be clear about that, cause it's a gas station, right? But I like Sheetz. I think Sheetz, you can order food. There's 8 billion different types of food you can order from Sheetz. I like their quesadillas. I like Sheetz more than Buc-ee's. Plus, they're far more accessible. There's way more Sheetz than Buc-ee's. And they're not massive. Buc-ee's are so overwhelming because 8 billion people are at this dumb... 8 billion people are at one gas station. First of all, it's not just a fire. Something bad is going to happen at a Buc-ee's soon. I'm just saying. And I'm not going to elaborate because I don't want to give criminals and psychos more ideas and more ammo. Well, I'm not going to literally give them more ammo, but okay, forget it. Something bad is going to happen at Buc-ee's soon. I wish I didn't say that. Crap. Okay. Because then something is, and then people are going to blame me, or it's just going to look bad on me. And I care a lot about my reputation, but shoot, I did it again. I don't know what I was talking about. I just talk too fast. I get lost. I get lost. I like Sheetz more than Buc-ee's. I like their food more. They're more accessible. But Sheetz doesn't have a mascot. I bet if Sheetz had a mascot, if Sheetz had, I don't know what their mascot would be. A beaver. Well, Buc-ee's is a beaver. So what if Sheetz was a schnitzel, like the dog? Is that, or Shih Tzu? Whatever it is. Would Sheetz be slightly more popular? I think so. Buc-ee's are also kind of popular because there's so few of them and they're so rare. They're rare and big, and people just like them. Plus, they have a mascot. Because you can just wear the mascot on your shirt or on your hat. If Sheetz, no one wants to wear Sheetz on their hat. But if Sheetz had a cute little mascot, then they'd want to wear it. Dude, I love Sheetz so much, bro. I buy so much from them, dude. Every time I'm in there, I buy something. I'm a freak in the sheets, you could say. You could say that. You don't have to. So anyway, let's just calm down on the Buc-ee's hype. It's good. It's fun time. It's a gas station. Most importantly, it's a gas station. I just don't really get Christmas music. I like it enough. I tolerate it really more than anything, but I don't get how people are not sick of all the same Christmas songs. I get sick of a song after 3 days of listening to it. You guys listen... Sure, I know you break it up by 11 months, but you still listen to All I Want Is You 30 times in 20 days, or heck, 100 times in 50 days. And the next year you're ready to listen to it again. I personally don't get it, and I'm happy for you. And the point of this isn't to rain on anyone's parade. What makes you happy makes you happy. Nothing makes me happy, and so I'm just expressing that. So if you love Christmas music, so many people love Christmas music, that's great. But I just don't really resonate with it. I know it's supposed to make it, it's supposed to bring up this like Christmassy feel. So you're supposed to feel Christmas all over your body, but I don't with Christmas music, man. I just don't. It doesn't bring up nostalgia, really. I like some of the songs, but I don't know. Not to listen to them all the time. I never listen to Christmas music on my own. That's something I've never done that. And does that make me what does that make me, guys? I don't know. I like a Silent Night, but I don't listen to Silent Night every day. I like that Kelly Clarkson song, by the way. That popular Kelly Clarkson Christmas song is better than the popular Mariah Carey song. So, it's just a fact for you. Suck on that, liberals. I like these podcasts because they don't require really any preparation. I can record as many as I want and I can upload them, and I love uploading. Uploading a video, it gives you it gives you a rush, you know? And so now that I'm doing these podcasts and I can just upload one of these every single day, it's so good. I get some of that instant gratification you guys keep talking about. It's great. I love it. I just love it. I love sour and salty and like powerful types of food, like jalapeno chips, but I don't like how after you have too many, it tears up your mouth. Or sour Skittles especially. I love sour Skittles. I'm recording this at in my roommate's room because the noise from the movie is way too loud in my room, and I saw his Warheads Extreme Sour, and I was thinking about, oh my gosh, these taste amazing. If I have more than two, I can't taste anything for a week. It's like I have COVID all over again. Today I coughed on an elevator, and I wanted to say, don't worry, it's just COVID. And COVID jokes are so old and boring. And if I ever turn on a Netflix and the second I see any COVID joke, I just kind of turn it off. It's one thing to reference COVID. It's another thing to make a vaccine joke in 2025. You disgust me. But and you would think I've cut up my mouth so many times with jalapeno chips and sour candy and all this stuff. And you would think your body would adjust, right? When you break your arm, your bones get stronger. When you cut yourself, your body heals. And when you work out, your hands get calluses. That's what I was hoping sour food would be like, is when you get calluses on your hands because you do too many pull-ups. That's what I think. That's how I feel like sour candy should be, because it cuts up your mouth and everything tastes like metal. And then the next day it still kind of hurts, and then the next day you're back to normal. But then the second you have some more sour Skittles, when I was 5, and it would take 20 sour Skittles to make my mouth sore and numb. Now that I'm 21, it still only takes 20 sour Skittles to make my mouth sore and numb. And that is stupid. You're telling me my body hasn't grown at all in the last 16 years? I know it has in some ways. Like with my height, I don't want to make innuendos. Can't clip this one. This one's not going to be in a clip. It's because I said something that could be interpreted as inappropriate. So those of you who actually sit down and listen to these podcasts, that's a special treat for you. That growing joke. My hair looks really good today. It's way too long, though. I have needed a haircut for a while. So much sour candy, yeah. I love these podcasts, man. It's so much fun to hang out with you guys. I kind of just go rapid fire for 23 minutes. I hit everything on my notebook. We're 23 minutes in, and I was hoping that if I were to just have 6 or 7 things I know I want to talk about or discuss, then once I'm done, I'd have so many other things to talk about. But I think I'm honestly just kind of out of gas. You know, I think I'm just out of gas. Or petrol, as the Germans say. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you don't know, I have a main channel called Peyton Burdett where I upload scripted content. Go check that out. Subscribe here. If you could give me a 5-star on Spotify, that'd do me a favor. Appreciate you all, and you all a good night.